one. The shit.
It's time to play the music. It's time to light the lights. It's time to meet the geeks on the Oz and Freak Show tonight. It's time to
Oh.
put on makeup. It's time to dress up right. It's time to raise the curtain on the Oz and Freak Show tonight. But now let's get things started. Why don't you get things started? It's time to get things started on the most sensational, inspirational, celebrational, muppetational. This is what we call the Oz and the Freak Talk Geek Show.
Yeah. How you doing, buddy?
Can you hear me?
Oh yeah.
Is that coming clear?
Oh yeah. We hear you loud and clear, bro.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
So, who is this I'm talking to?
Freak, it's me. It's OZ.
You look a little different here, buddy.
Oh, thank you for noticing. I just shaved my head.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, looking a little clean there. Definitely looking I don't know how to say it, a bit more orange than normal.
No, I feel okay.
Okay. Well, are you going to continue our intro?
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Yeah.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are. Thank you for joining the premier geek podcast, OZ and the Freak Talk Geek. I'm OZ.
And I'm the Freak. And today we're talking sex and violence. Muppets.
Twinsies.
He definitely looks a little bit more tan than you.
I'm working on it. Damn, this thing kills my hand already.
When did you get that? It's awesome.
Bro, I got this at this was one of the last things I purchased from Toys R Us.
Uh-huh.
When they were doing like FAO Schwartz whatnot Muppets kits.
I never saw that. I never even knew about those. That's awesome.
So you get the kit, and people can look these up. They're still available like on eBay and stuff like that. And you get a kit, and you get a whole bunch of accessories, and you can change them up.
Uh-huh.
With different type of stuff, and yeah, you have your own Muppet.
I've never heard of that. Holy crap. FAO Schwartz Muppet
Whatnots.
Kit. Yeah, the whatnots. 75 to 100, and some of them are 50, but yeah, no, they're definitely still selling, and they actually look pretty awesome.
I have two.
You have two?
I have the orange one and I have a blue one.
I see the blue one. That's the blue one that I'm seeing a lot of.
Yeah, the blue one's got some feminine eyes. I got some work to do on it, but
yeah. That's pretty cool. I've never even seen that before. I know that in New York City, there's I think it's either a Jim Henson store or it's like a Muppet store, but there's a store in New York City that you can actually get Henson studio quality Muppets custom made for you.
This is part of what that was. So it was from a toy store that was licensed it called FAO Schwartz. So, and they had their own particular section up in like the third story or the second story of FAO Schwartz's toy store, where they had like this thing. They had all the pieces there, and you made it yourself. Now, when they made it there, they didn't put they put all the parts on, so you couldn't change it out, but you could make a personalized one.
Yeah,
and they had a lot more options.
That's just like the other one. It's pretty much everything you put on is pretty permanent.
Yeah. These you can swap in and out. They're a lot of fun. They're for kids. The damn thing is way smaller than my hands allow. It hurts like hell. But I got it. It was one of the last things I got at Toys R Us when they were still open up down here, and it was like a Christmas present to myself. I was like, I love the Muppets.
So real talk though,
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen Trailer Park Boys?
Yeah.
Okay. You know Julian from
He's the
Trailer
one
Park Boys?
in the black T-shirt, right?
He's the one in the black t-shirt that's always holding the drink. Yeah,
Yeah.
if you put black hair on that Muppet, it looked just like Julian.
Well, I was trying to make him look more like me.
Well, no, I get that, but the mustache and the beard, like, yeah, that's all.
Yeah, because the goal is I'm gonna get some stuff where I can make him like a real beard.
Mm-hmm.
He did come with, I say they came with glasses that I was originally going to put onto him, but over the years, this cheap pleather that they were made out of has been degrading.
Ooh, yeah,
and he had a leather jacket too, but it's grody and gross like this.
No, that's still pretty awesome, dude. I love it.
I love it, man. I love the Muppets, man. I love them. I've loved them as long as I can remember. And to have something like that, now I have two of them. I'm blessed. I'm a blessed geek.
Yeah. So, would you care to explain to people why I said the name of today's show is Sex and Violence?
Well, yeah, sure. Today's episode is brought to you by the letter A, as in A, man. We're going to tell you what this is all about. So, Sex and Violence is the name of the very first episode of the Muppet Show. And that one came out in, when was that?
You sure it was the first?
It wasn't the pilot, but it was the main first episode.
It was the second episode to the pilot. They split the pilot as a two-parter, and it was technically part 2 of the pilot. Just saying.
Tell me more.
I think it came out in 1975.
Okay. What else?
Originally, the Muppets was meant for adults.
That's true. The Muppets are an American ensemble cast of puppet characters known for absurdist, surrealist, burlesque, and self-referential style of variety sketch comedy.
Mm-hmm.
They were created by Jim Henson in 1955. They are the focus of a media franchise that has encompassed children's films, television, music, and other media with the characters. Owned by the Jim Henson Company for nearly 5 decades, the franchise was purchased by the Walt Disney Company in 2004. Thank you, Wikipedia.
Oh.
So, I love the Muppets. I've raised on the Muppets. I think a lot of people in our generation have had Muppets at some point or another, if not for Kermit and them, and then it would be the Sesame Street characters or Fraggle Rock. But I've just always had a fascination.
I remember that.
I've always had a fascination with the Muppet characters.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, the Muppet Show was not my first dip into it. Neither was Sesame Street.
Same.
When did you first meet the Muppets?
It was one of 3 movies.
Oh.
And it wasn't the Muppets. It was the puppeteering of Jim Henson's puppets. So it would either be Labyrinth, Neverending Story, or Dark Crystal. Those were the 3 introductions into puppetry. And when I was a kid, I also watched the Muppet Babies cartoons.
Muppet Babies. It was Muppet Babies for me too. I mainlined Muppet Babies and the Fraggles, and then I just started getting into Sesame Street.
To this day, I still know most of the song in the beginning too for the Muppet Babies.
Muppet Babies.
When your room looks kind of weird and you wish that you weren't there.
Just close your eyes and make believe, and you can be anywhere.
Muppet Babies was an awesome cartoon, man. It really was. It was
a fantastic cartoon, and it was so awesome because it was always referencing pop culture.
Mm-hmm. It really did.
Like with the Star Wars episodes and the Indiana Jones episodes, it always was a reflection of pop culture. It was amazing. Mm-hmm. It was amazing for a cartoon to be produced that did that and had that kind of they had that kind of partnership with those companies too, with Lucasfilm and all that.
Yeah, and they had the Oh man, the nanny that always was looking over them, and you only ever really saw her legs.
Nanny.
Kind of like Dexter's mom. You only saw her legs.
No, you
At
saw
least
all
I
of
thought you
mom.
did.
You saw all of
Did
Dexter's
you?
mom. You
Oh,
didn't
okay. Never
see.
mind. Never mind.
You didn't
Who
see.
am I
You're
thinking
thinking
of?
of Powerpuff Girls and the secretary.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Okay. Yeah. That's what it was.
Yeah, but you always saw Nanny's
But you didn't
sneakers
see
and her
Nanny.
striped
Yeah.
socks.
Uh
Yeah,
huh.
and thanks for the Muppet Babies. We got the creation of Scooter's sister Skeeter.
Okay.
She was entirely created, and there is no
Remember that.
Muppet of her
Really?
for the Muppet Babies. At least not that
I
I'm
didn't know that.
aware of.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah.
There's so many freaking Muppet babies. Like, I mean, just Muppets in general.
Okay,
Like,
yeah, yeah. There.
just
I mean, there are a ton of characters. There's characters that started off like with my whatnot here,
mm-hmm,
which was just like a general base that they could change things and stuff like that to whatever kind of look they were going for.
mm-hmm.
So the whatnot is based on a general idea of like this could be whatever it wants to be. It's whatever it is. It's a whatnot.
It's a whatnot. Yeah. Yeah. Aptly named for it too.
Right. Um. Okay. So who's your favorite Muppet?
Ooh. Um. Man, there's so many freaking Muppets to choose from.
All right. I'll narrow
Okay.
it down for you.
Okay.
I'll narrow it
Okay.
down. Let's
Okay.
go to the main. Let's go with the Muppet Baby ones, and
Um.
kind of like their live action counterparts.
Gonzo and Animal.
Yeah.
Gonzo and Animal are because to me that a lot of times when people like things, it usually is like sometimes something that someone or something that's similar to you in your way. And I could always kind of relate to Gonzo because he was just fucking out there and weird, and nobody knows what the fuck he even was. I don't even know what Gonzo is. To me, he looks like a mosquito if you plucked its wings off in a way. And then there's Animal, who's just the damn absolute wild child, you know, and he would go ballistic crazy on the drums, and that was always funny to watch. But yeah, Gonzo and Animal.
Nice. Nice. I at different points in my life, I came to appreciate a different Muppet. When I was a kid, I loved Fozzie,
Mm-hmm.
especially from Muppet Babies, because I was always trying to be like a type of performer and get attention, and like falling on my face flat,
Mm-hmm.
not being funny, but would get just keep trying, and trying and trying. When I was in high school, I kind of uh, I was I had this attachment to Animal when I was
Animal.
I was a drummer in high school.
Yep, there
So
you go.
and I was the only member of the band that had a beard. So I already had like this wild, crazy, and have hair and just so I really what's the word? But anyway, I just kind of like went the Animal way. And
Mm-hmm.
as I've gotten older, I have started to really appreciate Gonzo.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because and before we started recording tonight, I started to watch Muppets in Space, and it was
Nice.
it's a Gonzo focused movie,
Mm-hmm.
and it's about him in search of who he is and what he is in the world and stuff like that. And I find myself having the same questions,
Mm-hmm.
and I relate is the word I've been looking for. I relate more to Gonzo now than I ever have. Um, what am I? Who am I? Where do I belong? So
Okay, that's and those are all valid points too.
yeah,
And that's like self-discovery and everything, and
mm-hmm,
that's really cool actually.
yeah,
As I become more of an adult too, I find myself a little less relating to Animal.
mm-hmm.
And one of the characters I think I feel like I relate a lot with, just bear with me here, is the chef.
Okay,
You never know what
okay,
the hell he's going on about. Like I'll literally, I even go into chef mode with my wife. Bertie, 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 just messing around. She'll be talking, and I just kind of pop into just doing that and stuff. And it's like you never know what the hell he's talking about, what's going on, what is he doing? Dude's in his own private little world, and that's kind of where I see myself sometimes. I'm just in my own private little fucking world, you know. And it's cool to like the way you think about that and the way I'm thinking about this too is the ones you grew up with and then the ones you start to relate more with as you grow up. You know, it's a level of maturity, not to mention the fact that this show and the Muppets have been around since I think like 1955 was the earliest, was the earliest release of the Muppet Show. So from 55, I mean, to 19 to here we are at 2024, still talking about Muppets, still going on about Muppets. Like there's, yeah,
and they have
and
they've adapted over the years too, like we have too, and they've been adapting to to different media as well. They showed up in TVs and parlayed that into movies. But they started on Sam and Friends in 1955. And then they worked their way into the Muppet Show, which debuted in 1976, and the Muppet Babies in '84. I mean, and
Muppet Babies came out in 1984.
1984. It ran from 1984 to 1990.
So keep in mind, I was born in 1984.
I was born in 82.
You were 82? Yeah, 82. So the first 6 years of my life is when that show was out. And yet I still remember so much about it. I remember the opening theme song and everything. Like it's amazing how much you can retain from just those first 6 years. Like
it caught our attention, and we got it on a regular. We had it in a regular basis too. I mean, it was a syndication. It was on almost every day.
Yeah.
We may not have watched it every day, but we sure as hell watched our fair share of it.
Oh gosh, yes.
So it was one of those. It's just catchy. You know, a good theme song, a good, good animation. It just sticks with you. And it's enough. I mean, and it's like, and they parlayed it to live action too. So you have those bright colors in live action, and
okay. So Sesame Street.
Sesame Street.
Who's your favorite on Sesame Street?
Gosh. Okay.
All right. Let's hear it.
I want to say like.
I'm curious if you're going to say who I think you're going to say.
I want to say Oscar the Grouch.
That was it.
But I'm not. I want to say because I want to be like Oscar the Grouch and just not give two flying fucks. Otherwise,
well, it's not who you relate most to right now. I'm asking who's your favorite.
I know, but one of my favorite when I was a kid, when I was watching it, it was Grover and Telly.
Grover and who?
Telly.
Who is Telly?
Telly was a blue monster, would have like this big black unibrow, and he talked like this.
I gotta Google this.
Okay, he had longer fur. He was a bigger Muppet than Grover. Grover, I loved Grover. Grover was so funny. I love Super Grover.
You mean he was purple, right?
He was like, I remember him as being blue, but like 40 years ago.
Yeah.
No.
This is Telly from Sesame Street.
Oh, then who am I thinking of?
The Cookie Monster?
No. Oh my God.
Everything I'm pulling up on Telly Monster shows a big.
Yo, that's right. Dude. I got the name wrong.
Okay.
I got the name wrong. Oh, what was his name? He was blue, and he had a black unibrow, and
Harry. And then there was Grover, but Grover didn't have the unibrow.
No, Grover didn't have unibrow. I know Grover.
Yeah. No, Harry looked like
Harry.
Harry.
That's him.
Yeah, he looked like an angry Grover. I remember him now. He wasn't on very often though. He wasn't like a regular, was he?
He was one of the older ones. He was. He didn't continue on. Once Elmo came around, the grumpy guys, other than Oscar, kind of got moved to the side.
I love but that's from, I think, more from the Muppets though than Sesame Street. The old men in the bleachers.
Waldorf and Statler.
Yeah, Waldorf and Statler. Waldorf and Statler, no lie, is like kind of like when you put me and my dad together.
Yeah, a bunch of
we
shit
have
talkers.
a bunch of shit talkers, a bunch of dry sense of humor and everything, but I think Snuffleupagus.
Hey, bird.
Snuffleupagus was
I
pretty
love
cool.
Snuffy.
Snuffy was one of my favorites, but I'm not gonna lie, I liked the banter between Bert and Ernie.
Oh, Bert and Ernie were great. Bert and
Yeah.
Ernie were like the best frenemies that have ever existed.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah,
absolutely
I
love
really
Bert and
loved
Ernie.
the banter between them two. And then of course, yeah, Oscar the Grouch was awesome.
Yeah, can't go wrong with Oscar the Grouch.
Mm-hmm.
I've tried watching like current Muppets, or like when my two youngest were little, I tried to like get them to watch Sesame Street like I did, and try to say,
Uh-huh.
"Oh, look, this is what I watched." You know, like you try to watch this, and it's just it's still the same, but so completely different than what I remember it being. It feels like a little bit like they're being talked down to,
Mm-hmm.
when it didn't feel like that when we were little.
Yeah, I get that, but then again, I mean, the world's changed a lot.
Yeah, that's
You
true.
know what we used to talk about and stuff as kids, and what kids talk about now are completely different things. With what's acceptable then and is not acceptable now.
Right.
What about did the Muppets or Jim Henson have anything to do with Eureka's Castle?
No, that was a different company. That was a
Completely
different
different.
company. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Bear the Big
Okay.
Blue House
Mm-hmm.
and Eureka's Castle. I think they're from the same production company, but it's
Okay.
separate from Muppet stuff.
But you see where it's similar, right?
Oh, sure. No, I get it. But they that was a totally different company. Like one
Okay.
of my favorite shows when I was little had puppets in it too. It was called Pinwheel, and Pinwheel was kind of similar to Sesame Street, but it
Mm-hmm.
was very, very Canadian.
Oh yeah.
Very Canadian. Very Canadian. And cheap puppets. But
Oh.
I loved it as well. So I loved
I'm just
uh,
picturing South Park where they're like the heads split in half and where they talk like the way
it's when you get a chance to look it up. I mean, maybe
Pinwheel.
Pinwheel. Yeah, and it was on Nickelodeon. It was one of the first Nickelodeon shows that came on the
Uh-huh.
network. Terrible. Terrible puppets. Terrible puppets. Okay, so I was looking at the stuff on the Muppets, and technically in the theaters, there's only been 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Muppet movies.
Wow.
That's it.
Really?
Just
Okay,
8
well
Muppet
that's
movies
so but
in
that's
the theater.
theater release.
In the theater
You know,
release Muppet movies.
okay, but there's been way more movies than that.
There have been a lot
Yeah.
of made for
There's
TV
made
movies.
for TVs and straight to
Mm-hmm.
DVD.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But out of the main Muppet like films,
Mm-hmm.
it's the Muppet Movie, The Great Muppet Caper, The Muppets Take Manhattan,
The pirate one.
The Muppets Christmas Carol, Muppet Treasure Island,
Treasure
Muppets
Island.
from Space, The Muppets, and Muppets Most Wanted.
Okay.
What's your favorite out of those?
Ooh.
And what was the first one you ever seen?
First one I ever saw was probably the Muppets Christmas Carol.
Okay.
That I can remember.
1992.
Okay. And
That one is
then
still seasonal watching for me, like every Christmas. That's the version of the Christmas Carol that I watch.
okay, but my version of the Christmas Carol is Scrooged. I love Scrooged.
It's good.
I a huge Bill Murray fan here, dude.
But it doesn't have Michael Caine.
Doesn't need it.
If it's got Michael Caine in it, it's automatically better.
I disagree. And then Treasure Island, because I freaking love. I love pirates. Pirates are amazing.
Pirates are amazing.
Right?
Pirates are amazing. The first one I can remember seeing is The Muppets Take Manhattan.
Mm-hmm.
That was the one that really sticks out with my early memories. And so that one has come to be like my like number one like favorite nostalgic movie of theirs. Um, but the Muppets from 2011, the one with Jason Segel,
Mm-hmm.
when they just kind of like they brought the Muppets back.
See, I
Um,
don't even know if I've seen that one.
it's oh man, dude, I went to the theater and to go see that like opening night,
Oh yeah.
and oh yeah, dude, and I was just so happy I cried. I was, and when he
Gotta give
started,
that cat attention. Sorry.
yeah, it's okay. It's okay. And when Kermit started singing Rainbow Connection, I was just like,
Oh man, nothing sadder than seeing a fat man weep.
especially a green puppet frog.
It isn't easy being green, bro.
No,
Just not easy.
no. But I'm so thankful that Disney and Jason Segel have they decided to make that movie and bring that back
Mhm.
out and really put the Muppets back on the map. Unfortunately, it was followed up by Muppets Most Wanted, but
Never even seen it. There's a lot of those on the list too that you mentioned that I've never seen.
yeah,
Mm-mm.
the Great Muppet Caper, the Muppet movie.
Nope.
Really?
Nope. Never saw those.
I've only watched The Great Muppet Caper like maybe once or twice. It really didn't
Hmm.
hold my attention any. The Muppet movie is great. It's about the formation of the whole Muppet show. It's about
Okay.
Kermit going to go to Hollywood and meeting everybody on the road to start a show. It's really nice, like origin story.
Okay. That I might have to check that out then.
And oh man, the Electric Mayhem have an awesome song in that. Speaking of the Electric Mayhem, one of the most recent things that came out was on Disney Plus. It
Hmm.
was called The Muppets Mayhem,
Hmm.
and it was just about how the Electric Mayhem have never released an album. They've
And who
been
are the Electric
touring.
Mayhem?
The Electric Mayhem is the band that Animal's in.
Okay. Okay.
So you got Floyd and Janet and Animal and Dr. Teeth. They're the band that plays like they're in the Muppet Show. And they're
Hmm.
they do the main song, and they're the ones that are like they're the band that's playing the party in the background or whatever like that. And they
Okay.
did a whole like 8 episode series of Disney Plus about the Electric Mayhem recording an album, and
Really?
it's brilliant.
Well, I
It's
recently have
it's
Disney
so
Plus.
good.
I think I'm gonna have to check that out.
Well, and hold on a second. One second.
All right. We're holding on. Do 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 do. Intermission. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Hey everybody. Let's give it up for Scarlet Spider, Ben Riley over here. Nice. That's pretty cool.
So this is the LP that came out after the show debuted,
That's awesome. I like
and
the art style too.
the music is so good, dude. They covered some really good songs on here, man,
Hmm.
and it is a lot of fun just to listen to as a record itself without it being associated with the Muppets.
Yeah.
But check
What are
this
some
out.
of the songs they did?
Hold on one second. I will show you something real quick. Where is it? Oh yeah, there it is.
Whew.
Check out the color of that record.
Oh damn, that's nice. I like that.
Focus. There we go. That is gorgeous, man. Let's see. There's somebody with. They did a great cover of True Colors. Um, The Sound of Us is good. Oh, okay. Dr. Teeth sang "Have a Little Faith in Me," and it is deep. It is deep. That's my
All
favorite.
right.
That's the first. That's the one I will go on first. Have a little faith in me. Um,
Make a little note so I can go listen to this later.
yeah, it is so good. And it has like with a classic. They covered Rock and Roll All Night, which was pretty good. Um, and they did their classic. Can you picture that? It was really good. A
All
lot
right.
of fun.
I got that queued up for later. I'm gonna give that a listen to here in a little bit after this podcast.
I would. I would. It's really good. Really, really
Yeah.
good.
So
Yeah.
what is it that really got you into Muppets? Like to this day, still brings you in, and what's so like enigmatic about it? Like what is it that brought you in and got you in hooked?
I appreciate um about everything that has to do with the Muppets. I have an appreciation for art. I have appreciation for things that have that take skill and talent.
Mm-hmm.
And from the creation of all the characters and how the puppets look and the music that goes into almost everything that has to do with Muppets. It's an all-encompassing piece of art to me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you look at the puppets, and if you can touch them, you can feel them. You can feel the felt. You can even see the different like textures on the different puppets that they use, and the colors that they chose, and the puppeteers, lip syncing the puppet with the music, or even with themselves speaking. The technical abilities of human actors, interacting with somebody who's standing next to them doing this, like it's the artistry that goes into it. And I think that, and as far as the artistry of puppeteering is concerned, Jim Henson, the Muppets, hands down, are the
Oh,
best.
absolutely, absolutely, they are.
So I
So,
think because it was the bright colors and the funny characters when I was a kid, but starting to appreciate art and technical ability as I got older, that kept me
mhm.
going with it.
So when I was a kid, it was about the characters.
Yeah,
Um, I don't like things being like they are. I don't like. So you got Rugrats. It's a cartoon about human children doing fun imaginary stuff. Cool, great. We were all kids. We all did weird imaginary stuff. This was about Muppet Babies originally was about these children. One was a pig, one was a dog, one was a bear. Some of them I don't know what the fuck they were. I still don't.
it was an
And you had
absurdist.
these different
Yeah,
creature type things living in a human world.
yeah.
Yeah, and it wasn't until later on too that it really clicked. Once I got to watching actual Muppet shows,
Mm-hmm.
that it really clicked that hey, you know, these are creatures and different things that have been brought into existence that don't really need explanation of what they are, where they came from, but they've been accepted into society in which they're living in this real world. They're not living in their own world where everything is creatures.
Right.
No, they are like this subgenre sect of creatures living in our human world in which we've accepted this and we're cool with it. It was cool to see people like you said sitting there engaging with Gonzo. What the fuck
Yeah.
is Gonzo? I don't know. Are we gonna treat him differently? No, he's cool. He's Gonzo.
Yeah.
And it was that interaction with people and the Muppets that is one of the things that kind of kept me hooked when I was younger. When I went from the TV show, from the cartoon to the actual live action,
Right.
and it was like, oh man, these things were cartoons. Now they're live action. What the hell else can they do? And it was
Anything.
and it was seeing them being brought to life that really piqued my interest. And for me, the Muppets are awesome. I love a lot of Jim Henson's other work, the more darker stuff, because that's my
Sure.
niche.
Sure.
But it's what he can do, and the fact that he can give life And I don't just mean like, oh, hey, it's moving. No, like he can give it life, like make these things seem, talk, act, look real, even though you're looking at it and you're looking at it and you're like, there's nothing real about this, but yet it seems so real, and it is real. It's the way he brings them to life. It's just absolutely amazing. It's not just movie cinema magic, because this is there's not much magic, cinema magic behind these, other than the fact that people might be standing here and there's people below them with hand puppets and stuff, but there's no CGI. It's what you're seeing is what you're getting. And I love that stuff. I
Yeah,
really do.
I like to think of it as like an absurd fantasy.
Yeah.
And once you try to wrap your head around it, you'll break. But if you go with it and you take it for what it is, you go for that ride, and just let it. Then it's fantasy. It's just fantasy, and it's a nice break from reality.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because reality kind of sucks. At least ours does.
Okay.
I want to live in somebody else's reality.
Okay, so the Muppets have they've touched pop culture, mark. So I say pop culture, like they've interacted with different movie elements. Like in Muppet Babies, they did Indiana Jones and Star Wars. We've seen in the live action realm, we had Muppet Treasure Island, Muppet Christmas Carol, uh, the Muppets of Oz. We've seen the Muppets Haunted Mansion. Um, is there a property that or is there a setting where you would like to see a new Muppet movie?
Oh,
Well, like a story for them to tell through the lens of Muppets.
aliens. You asked.
Okay. Okay.
I'm a big sci-fi nerd too, so I would like to see more Muppets in space, but like more alien-esque. Like let's go to an alien world of Muppets.
Okay.
Show me something like that. Instead of Muppets
Farscape.
on Earth. Yeah. Let's do a Farscape. Let's see Farscape.
That's Jim Henson.
I mean, there was what, the blue dude. I can't even remember his name. He was a Muppet. You remember which one I'm talking about?
I only just started watching the show.
Okay, he's one of the main characters. I want to say
He was the pilot, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's the pilot.
Yeah.
He's a puppet because you really only see him from the waist up, and you see his big chubby arms and everything. But you asked me what I want to see. I would like to see a Muppet show from a perspective of another planet, like in space, like an alien Muppet themed world.
Right on.
That's what I would like to see. I like aliens in space.
Nice.
I love horror, but we're not gonna get that. And we've already had some horror Muppet stuff.
Well,
it was not Jim Henson.
No. I would like to see the Muppets because I don't want it touched any other way. I don't want it rebooted. I don't want it redone in any other form. But I would allow Muppets Back to the Future.
Ooh. Okay.
I think a Muppets Back to the Future, have Kermit as Marty, have Miss Piggy as his mom. I think that would be great.
Okay. Who would be Biff?
Oh, Sweetums.
Okay. That checks out.
Make like a tree and get out of here.
I'm trying to picture who would be Doc.
Bunsen.
Nah, I thought that because of that's what Bunsen is, but it doesn't work out for me. I'm
Bunsen
thinking,
and Beaker make the most sense, man.
Well, no, they do make the most sense, but I don't know. I'm thinking maybe like Fozzie Bear or Ralph.
Oh, Rolf has got to be Einstein.
Okay, rough. that checks out.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, and let's do all three. Let's do the whole trilogy in one movie, so we can see Kermit on a hoverboard, and then like slinging pistols as a cowboy.
All right. How about let's see Muppets do Clerks.
Oh well,
I
mean, he's
be
standing
honest
behind the
with you,
counter for the most of that movie, so
you could see it working out, right? Muppets
that'd
Clerks.
be a great way to do a stage production of Clerks.
It's via Muppets.
I can see that.
Yeah, yeah.
I can see that.
Oh, I love to see
Still need a lot, like you
Muppet
still need a
James
human Silent Bob though.
Well, what about Jason Mewes then?
Oh, he's full on Muppet.
He is a Muppet.
That's animal right there, buddy. Fuck.
That's what I was. It was playing in my head. I just wasn't going to say it out loud.
Motherfuck.
Shit, that would be awesome.
Oh,
Bert and Ernie could be could be Ben Affleck and
Matt Damon.
No, yeah. Thank you, Matt Damon. Ben Affleck and Matt Damon could be Bert and Ernie. Now, if we do like Muppets do Dogma, that would be perfect.
Muppets. I just like the title. Muppets do Dogma.
That I would pay to see that shit.
We should make that.
See, and that's my thing. Like,
can we still cast Alanis Morissette as God?
Oh, we have to. We absolutely have to. But it would be a Muppet version of her, but she would actually have to talk at some point. Maybe. So how about Alanis Morissette playing the Muppet of Alanis Morissette?
Meta.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So if there's something that I would like to see, like, truly done in the world of Muppets, would be Hellraiser. I'm not gonna lie. God, I really would. You know, if we're imagining here, you know, the answer I gave earlier about seeing the space alien stuff is that's like something that could really happen. But if we're just spitballing fantasy shit here, that'll never happen. It would be Muppets do Hellraiser. Any one of them. Any one of them.
Do you cast a Muppet as Pinhead, or just make a Pinhead Muppet?
No. I think we'd have to have probably like Kermit, the Kermit Pinhead.
I don't even know where to go with that. I don't. I just my brain just went.
Temporary power down.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, well, can't win them all.
No, you can't. But thank you so much for like letting me do this topic today, dude. I just really wanted to nerd out. Just really kind of want to put my love of Muppets out there.
Yeah.
I like I said, I've loved them ever since I was a kid. I may not be able to get my own kids to get into it, but I'm really glad I got to share, at least put out there how much that they mean to me.
That's a hard thing too, you know, because the things that we grew up on, you would want, like, I don't have kids, but if I did have kids, I would love for them to love the same things that I do. Right. And like with the way the world is nowadays, and with everything that you have available at your resources and shows and everything, I could see Muppets being something hard to get kids into nowadays, you know, and I think it's either they're all for it or it's just not their thing. I don't think Muppets is something that most people are like in between, in the middle. You know, it's like you really, 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 really like the Muppets, or it's just not something you're interested in.
No, and thankfully, Disney keeps trying to bring them back out and to do new things with them. Like they had a show on ABC, Muppets Now, and we had Muppets Tonight in the '90s, and the Muppet Show, and they keep trying to get it out there for a new generation to find them, a new generation to appreciate them. And it's time now. It's been a few years since we've had our last movie. We needed another shot in the arm. The Muppets need another shot in the arm.
What's Jim
their
Henson's...
their social media presence is pretty good. The little shorts that they put out every now and again.
Yeah.
But I as a Muppet fan, I need more. I need something a little bit more up to date would be nice. Or another movie.
What's Jim Henson's son's name? Because he's the one that's Brian Henson. Okay, so and Brian's the one that has been taken over.
Yeah, he's the president of Henson. Yeah,
and so basically, the ball has fallen into his hands, and the reins, he's taken over. Right. And how do you feel it's become since the takeover?
Well, when Brian took over, he took over in a weird time where the Muppets were transitioning from being the absurdist hippie statement to corporate-owned Disney.
Yeah.
So the Muppets themselves, it seems like they may have lost their bite a little bit.
Yeah.
Which is, understandable when, it's a millions of dollar company, property. It's got a lot of value and it needs to be protected. And, but
has there been a significant drop in quality?
No, not quality. Okay. Not to me. But it's just like what they're saying. You know what I mean? Like, there's not enough. It's just too soft now.
Okay.
It seems like it's just too soft, and it could really have a punch to it. And we get something like that, but we don't get that with the main Muppets. We get that with Avenue Q, or we get that with
Avenue Q.
Yeah, or we get it with what was that Melissa McCarthy movie that they did? Oh, what was the name of it? Where she was partners with a puppet cop, and
I know what you're talking about, but I haven't seen it.
Their drugs were sugar, so they were snorting sugar off of hookers' asses and stuff.
Yes, I know what you're talking about. I can't remember though.
But that was Henson. That's not Maine. It wasn't
Maine
Muppets.
Yeah.
But it's in that world of that creation, in that universe. And that had a little bit too much of a bite. But that went too far the other way.
But that's kind of what I was touching base with, and what I was talking about earlier is the shows that we kind of grew up with. Wouldn't pass the standards for shows for children now.
No, absolutely not.
They wouldn't be able to get away with the things that was said back then, or their actions, as they would today.
Right.
Because today you're, safe place and hurting people's feelings, and you got to say the right thing. Yeah, it's so hard nowadays to. So easy, in the world we live in of cancel culture, that you gotta tread every step here. You gotta watch every single thing, because everything is put under microscope.
Right.
And it sucks that that's what it's come to, and that's part of the reason I think that it's so soft now.
But see, that's what's missing. I think through the voice of the puppets that can't. They can say the things that the normal person couldn't say. It's absurd. It's this piece of felt that said this. It's not a human that said this. So it can be allowed. I wish I had a little bit more bite, but they're still trying. We got new Fraggles that's on Apple TV.
Down in Fraggle Rock.
Oh. Down in Fraggle Rock. And like I said, they still do the social media stuff. So Jim Henson's, they're not hurting.
No.
But I need some more Gonzo. I need some more Miss Piggy. Give me some Fozzie. We got Ralph. Let's go.
Mm-hmm. And as far as Henson, like, Henson Studios go,
Mm-hmm.
I could use a little more Dark Crystal. There was
Well,
talks of another Never-Ending Story there,
well,
which would be amazing, and I would love that. I really would. I'm a huge fan of the Never-Ending Story.
I think we're getting. I think the next thing that's going on is Brian is trying to actualize his father's dreams in
Mm-hmm.
regards to pushing the limits of art and creativity in regards to puppetry, and that's why we got the Dark Crystal series.
Yeah, because there's
And
so much you can do with it in these worlds.
right, but no, there wasn't enough. The Dark Crystal was niche, and it was a very. I mean, it had its cult following, but
Mm-hmm.
it didn't do enough for Netflix to give it a second season, which is a shame.
No, it really is a shame.
But they've been playing around. There's been speculation, and they've been talking about it for years. But
Labyrinth?
there could
Yeah,
be a return with Labyrinth.
I did hear
Um,
about that. But who would play Jareth? People
you get
people were talking about Tom Hiddleston for a bit.
Yeah,
And
why not?
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah,
For
prequelize
me,
it.
for me,
If
it's
it's Jareth becoming the Goblin King,
Mhm.
then it could be anybody.
That would be really cool. And I'm okay with that. Like, I'm not one of these purists that's like, oh, you can't replace David Bowie. To me, it's not so much what David Bowie did for the movie, but it's more of what Jareth stood for.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't matter really what he looks like. I really don't care.
He has to have that presence, though. He has to have that presence of
Exactly.
character, and he has to
Hmm.
have the ever-growing codpiece.
Oh God. It was ever growing, wasn't it? Like, it
It
just kept
got
getting
bigger and
bigger.
bigger and
It
bigger.
did. Like, that was a big cut piece, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah. And then you'd still got to have the guy doing the ball juggling,
Yeah.
which wasn't David Bowie.
No.
It was not David Bowie.
He was Muppeteered himself.
Yes, he
somebody
was.
else's
He was
hands.
a Muppet.
Yep.
He had another guy in there doing all that stuff and everything. Yeah. But that could be a conversation for another day, because I just love Henson and all his creativity and everything he does.
I do too. And if you really want to love it, the last thing I want to suggest tonight is on Disney Plus. There was a documentary that came out about Jim Henson, about his history, and I'm trying to make sure I get this quoted right on what it was called.
I'm a Bird. Wasn't it called I'm a Bird?
No, but there's another documentary about Big Bird. That's really, really good. If you could find that, I would check that out. Oh, I thought it was on here. Where is it? Anyway, look up Muppets on Disney
Jim
Plus.
Henson Idea Man?
There it is.
Okay.
An amazing documentary about Jim Henson. It really shows all of his hardships, doing this, what it did to his marriage, what it did to his relationship with his kids, into getting into work with Sesame Street and the popularity of the Muppets, and then his death, and it is a fantastic, and it's directed by Ron Howard. So it was really a love letter to Jim Henson, and it is so good. I recommend checking that one out. And then there is the Carol Spinney documentary.
Thank you. That's what I was just gonna say. It was a documentary on Carol Spinney called I Am Big
Bird. And that one is amazing too. He is such a sweet, heartwarming man and story. Amazing documentary too. So get some behind the scenes stuff. See if you can dip your toe in some more appreciation for the Muppets and for the Jim Henson Company. That's my recommendation.
And if you're young and you're listening to this and you've never heard of Muppet Babies, Go check it out. I'm sure you can find plenty of videos on YouTube.
Check out the 80s Muppet Babies.
80s Muppet Babies. Wait, they came out. Oh, yeah, that's right. You said they came out with new ones, right?
There's a Disney Junior version, CG animated.
No. Look up the 80s, the original, the OG Muppet Babies.
Yeah, I'd highly recommend that. So thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for letting me have this conversation with you, Jet.
Oh, gosh, dude. This was an awesome one.
And so please, if you like this episode, I know. If you hit us up on the comments for this episode. Let us know who your favorite Muppet is, who your favorite Muppet movie is. Like, subscribe, follow. What kind of setting would you like to see the Muppets come into next? Please let us know in the comments, and we would appreciate hearing from you.
Play along with what movie would you like to see the Muppets redo?
Yeah,
I can't
get any worse than Hellraiser.
I mean, it Roots.
OATFTG. On all of our social medias.
Toby.
I'm OZ.
And I'm the Freak.
And we've been talking geek.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Straight to hell.